Good evening, welcome to Relove Guitars again, twice in one evening, or once if you've just joined me or something. And what we've got here is, I don't know what this is, I don't know what it's called. It's an Epiphone, and it's an Epiphone, it's a big jumbo thing, and it's got a bit loose, which we'll come to in a minute. Pretty sound. So we have big jumbo Epiphone with a big Epiphone head and some big heavy Grovers and a shadow. Oh, it's a shadow tunery. What's this little clippy thing? What goes in there then? I don't know. Something. Oh, I don't know. Don't quite know what that is. There's a tuner and yeah, and a EQ, and there's two pickups in here, one under the saddle, one under the neck here, or the end of the neck here, and two outputs, one of which has come off. So part of the challenge of this is going to be to retrieve that bit, and I'm going to try and use my magnet and find a way to get it out. This is marks of the guitar, and what we've got here is we've got, it's a bit dirty, could do with it's an EJ apparently according to this, Epiphone EJ, but we've got a broken nut here, so we need to replace that, and we'll replace it with a bone one. I think this is probably hard plastic by the look of it. It's really well set up actually, a little bit bellying on the top, but not an awful lot. So it's a pretty low action. I mean, it's about 2-3 millimeters, something like that. You probably could go a little bit lower, but Mark doesn't want anything doing with that just for now. Oh, it's more than that. Oh no, so I'd say it's 3, 2.5, just over 2.5. So it could go lower, but it feels nice to play. So these strings are filthy, so that's going to get a clean up as well. So what am I going to do with this guitar? I'm going to change the nut out, set the nut slots to nice low, first fret action about 0.3. I'm going to clean it, change the strings obviously, clean it up. These pegs are mangled, I don't quite know why, they've been probably pulled out by players too many times anyway. And then we're just going to, I'll take the tuners off and clean the headstock up like before, just give it a real nice clean up, and then restring it. But I'm going to get in here if I can and pull this nut out. We're going to have to put a new thing on the outside, keep it in place. Or what's in there then? Oh blimey! Oh, there's some loom bands in there. That's what I like to see. Family stuff. Sorry, you can't see. Secret. Oh, yeah, of course we can go in there and we can put the camera in, can't we? Have a look around. I'll do that in a second. So for this, because I'm not doing any fret leveling or anything like that, well, I'll slack these off for now, because I'll need to knock the nut out and replace that, because that's the sort of main thing. Once I've got the nut replaced and the slots cleaned, set the way I want them, then we can go into sort of hunt the jack plug mode. I'm not sure what bits I'll need or if I've got them, but I'm hoping I have. This is broken, so that can basically go. I'll take the truss rod cover off just now as well, so I can get clear access to knock the thingy off. So this isn't a big massive undertaking. What I don't know is how how easy it's going to be to get the missing piece back out. I know that Mark probably got big hands, so he didn't get very far putting his hands into that sound hole. You probably need to send a small child in there, but hey. So I'll use the legendary Chris Barker tool, which is still, I meant to sort of glue this together or something. It's still working, and off it comes. Now, whether or not this is bone, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's more of a plastic. It feels like a vitreous, hard plastic stuff. Either which way, we are going to change it out for something new. And in this case, something new. It's just sort of slightly flat topped one, but I think in here I've got a round topped one that might feel. Put on this. You join me as I put on this new bone nut, and I do what I usually do, which is to put on a nut taller than it needs to be, and it's usually quite a way taller than it needs to be. And a lot of people, some people, say to me, "Why don't you cut downwards to make sure that you start off with a nut the right size to begin with?" And actually, the reason I don't is because I can't really get it accurate enough that way. So I like to work downwards. So let me just get a bit of grip on here. Strings are everywhere. Yeah, so I like to work downwards, trying to calculate it and work up from the top down? No, upwards. Never seems to work out for me. So I'll go work downwards, and then I'll discard the excess material on the top. And the good thing about that is that that's very controllable. It's just easy to do. So I'm going to find a tuning for this. Nice, massively high action, but now I'm going to get myself a set of strings, and I'm going to decide. I get a set of files based on the string, the replacement strings I'm going to use. So I'm working a bit more later than I would normally do because I've got Malcolm coming over tomorrow, good mate of mine, and I know he's going to be interested in seeing Mark's Gibson and seeing how it feels in comparison to his Rally GL300, which he swears by as a Gibson beater. Right, 47. Well, these are pretty light. What are these? These are, oh, these are 10s down to, let's try these. These are actually really light. Let's see how these feel. These are quite chunky. So if we'll go extra light. Okay, extra light. Okay, we'll go extra light. Why not? It should be good. But I'll go oversized. So I'm going to go 10s. I'm going to go 15, 13, 12. I'm going to go 13. Get my collection of bits out. So I'm going to go 13. Oh, for goodness sakes. 14, 23. 14, 28. Right. 13. So 10 into 13, if I know what I mean. For some reason I'm feeling somewhat klutzy at the moment. So Never go with the exact size, always go above. Where is it, please? Oh lordy, how many of these do I have to go through to find the right one? A lot of them, obviously. Okay, 13. 14, I go 17. Where do my 17s live? I've not got enough room here. I can't see what that one is. That's 13. 17. Okay, 13, 17. 17. 23, we go 26, which is in here somewhere. 26, 11, 36, 28, 24. What was that one? 24. Is that 24? 23. Okay, we can go 28. That'll do. Here we're going to go 30, so we'll go 36, which is there. Then we go in 39. We go 46. Do we have a 46? Is there such a thing? 46 we do. And then we're going to go, and this one 47, but we're going to go as if it's 52, so we have to go with the biggest one we got here, 48, and a bit of extra width on it as well, using a triangular file. Okay, so that should accommodate these strings. So I'm going to get my triangular file out, which is the sort of donkey, whatever the word would be, the hard work, and I'm going to start from the G outwards, and I'm going to go for a 0.3mm playing action. This is going to be a lot lower than higher, sorry, than Mark's trusty Les Paul in the house. Okay, huge gap. So what I do is I begin with the V file to shift volume, and I use that kind of mostly horizontally to begin with. This is really about getting rid of a lot of material quickly. We come down towards the height we want, then I start to work with a backwards slanted file, in this case the 28. Whoops, sorry, noisy. And then basically use that file to reach the target action. And you see it's quite a backward slant in the bone, because I want the string to come up and launch off the front of the nut. In a way that the more the angle the better in some ways, but obviously restricted by where you can get to without hitting the headstock. Now this is obviously, because it's quite deep, this is digging quite a channel which is difficult to get the file into now, and I can either use the V file to just open that up a little bit more, and then again finish off with the actual gauge file I want. But almost there, a little space still, and then in this method all of the spare material above the bottom of the slot we can just Dremel off really, and then file and shape to our heart's content. So this is just working it down bit by bit. Almost there on this one. But it's a deep slot at the moment, and it gets more and more difficult to work because of that. So that's our G slot in the new nut. I just want it at tension so that I can it will sit properly in the slot. It won't run any risk of getting stuck halfway down the slot. So, say, sort of volume digging at the moment, and this V file is very good for that. I do have some other bass guitar files that would also take the slot down pretty quickly, which aren't as what's the word? Not as notchy as that. So this one would take it down with a sort of square bottom, shall we say, and it's also quite abrasive, so it's quite dependable how it cuts. Get close to where we want to be. And then off the bottom of the, I suppose it's a reasonably square slot, I'm going to start working with this file. And again, you've got quite a lot of room in the bottom of there, so you have to pick your spot that you're going to work down from, in a way, to get it right. And then get back into it when you're there. Almost there as well. So they're both pretty much the same. I'll stop there. I'll double check them at the end. I might be chickening out a little bit there, but I always tend to. Now, which could I use? I could use something narrower, which will still be bigger than the string. So I'll start with this notch, because it's this V file, because it goes perfectly into the existing notch as a locator, and then I can work it down with this pretty fine file, and this way it's quite easy to get a nice angle on this. But again, you're going to end up with a slot that, the good thing about this is if you keep working with just one of these, you get down to where you want to get, and the actual nut file takes over from the bottom of the notch, which is probably better located, easier to follow on. So I'll probably carry on just using that, knowing it's a more dependable method. And I've used these jeweler files for many a year on this task. Okay, so I am close, and I can then just do this last bit now as we take over from the bottom of the V, take over from the V file, the jeweler's file, with the little fine, this 13 gauge, and then we'll just continue with that until we're at the right height. Then, as I say, all the rest can be taken off afterwards, carved away at our leisure. And I usually do it with a Dremel, with the accompaniment of clouds of burning bone, which is pretty gross. But that's why I prefer doing, I've never done a nut from the bottom up and depended on it. I think I've put one on once that happened to fit and be at the right height by pure accident, but everything else is a kind of precise labour of love, really. We're very close, a tiny bit more. Okay, going to stop there and then work on the other three. And again, I'm going to use this thingy here, and we'll go for the 36. You can probably see the difference between these now. There's a massive difference. As with all good Gibson style guitars, the angle on this string is quite extreme. The way it goes over the nut, it comes out sideways effectively. Leo Fender had the right idea. Okay, now we're on to the actual gauge file. Getting there, still high. Just going to open this up a bit again. When you're doing this, you can see the gap, an air gap between the bottom of the string and the top of the fret. It's quite an easy thing to keep an eye on, even if you didn't have the file as a sort of the feeler gauge as a checker. You could pretty much do it by eye if you've got one of them done. Very close, but actually that's still quite a lot of fresh air. I like it. This now the 46. Yeah, loads of height, so make with the triangular file. Loads of room. So for this, for the frets on this, I'll get the fret protector strip out and get the fret rubber and just give them a polish just to freshen them up. Shouldn't take too long since we're not technically doing any fret work on them. I don't want to take too long over it. Close. Now the 48, in this case 48, but it probably needs to be more like 52. So what I'm going to do, for the ease of, these did have numbers on them once but they disappeared, 3 and 6, that's really helpful. It's very close to being the one, so we can use this one to kick off with. I'll just widen the top out so it's not grabbing the file too much. blue one I was using? Oh, I've lost track. Blue or orange? It was orange, wasn't it? Orange, orange, orange one a bit larger than that, so let's go that one. Just do a check while I'm at it. I'm pretty sure this would be close to it. I'll do it in the inches department. That side, that side. Yeah, it's 55. That's pretty good. This is a bit square on the bottom, that's the only thing. So even when we get there, what I'll probably do is just round it out with the 48. Even though it's not technically exactly the same. I'm going to go back over these because I've wimped out a bit on all of them, I can tell. It's a bit sad really. I'm going to get them exact and not chicken out. That's on the mark. Okay, I'm going to go back up to the D. I'm going to get this right. I'm not going to skimp on this. I hate doing a casual job. I hate chickening out is what I mean, and I often do. So I'm going to just persevere until this is where I want it to be. Which is there. Very nearly there. Yep. Ding 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 ding. G is a tiny bit high in my book. We'll be there any minute now. Sorry it's taken a bit of a while. You can see this nut now has some fairly deep grooves in it. I'm gonna, not grooves, yeah, you know, notches, and we'll clean those out with the Dremel shortly. That's good, happy with that. Good, I'm happy. Right, all done. I am happy, it's true. Right, so I've got these currently set up for a very light gauge, but they've got room for a heavier next gauge up, 1253s, because when I talking to Mark, I was conscious that it's clear he wanted a light gauge, and I kind of started out by suggesting 1252s or something for 1253s, and I think he wanted lighter, so I found lighter, which is what I'm going to do. Right, so here comes the goodbye strings time. Strings are off, that's it, history, and then we're going to go into mixture of cleanup, nut reshaping. Oh, I've just cut myself on the string ends, I hate that. Cleanup. One of these tuners is broken. Let's It's a little plastic little nylon washer is gone. Might be able to reconstruct one. We shall see. It works, but it's lost its damping, which is a bit not so good. Oh, these things are waiting to stab me, I tell you. And then you have a little bit left over, and it trawls its way around the tuner peg and scratches the scratches your lacquer. It's just like it's designed to do it. Right. Okay, that's those horrible things done. And I'm going to get my very gentle little puller. Oh yikes, these are away in, aren't they? Hellfire. Just rocking these out. They've been rammed all the way in. Not sure they were ever designed to go quite that far in, but that's where they've ended up. I have got some spare ones of these. It might be appropriate time to replace them. Let's have a look and see if they fit. Right, all the string's gone. Oh, hellfire. Oh my lordy. I'm going to be careful I don't break the windows. It's only a shed after all. Okay, we have got the fret cleany thing. I'm going to push those out of the way. What I want to have a look at now while we're in this mode is let's see if we can find what, apart from the loom bands. Okay, there's some bits. That's obviously a bit of leads floating about. Something just flung itself out of there, went in here. Oh my god, it's a Lego man's head. Dun dun dun. See, I recognise that, having had kids and a million Lego men. Well, that's partly what's rattling around, but it's not the whole story. Now, I had made a device which wasn't strictly for this purpose, but it was for the purpose of getting something back out of Thomas's motorbike. And with a bit of luck, oh come on, you can do it. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever get it out again. Yeah, I will. Right, with a bit of luck, I can shove that in. I can also dig. Ah, you frighten me. Loom bands. Now, there's still more bits of loom band and stuff in here. Bits of bracing. Let's see if I can. I probably don't need this. Well, I might need this. Let's find the missing jack. See, I won't be able to. Oh, blimey. Right, hang on. I can't get to the end, but what I can do, with a bit of luck, is connect up the magnet with this jack. Whether I'll be able to actually pull the damn thing out is anybody's guess. How far can I get my hand in here? Not far enough. Now what I really need, it's not such a long thing getting in the way. What I really need is something that I can push into that jack, because this magnet insists on holding it on the side, and I can see there's a washer on the inside of there that's I want to try and come through. Let's see if I can encourage it to come anywhere near coming through. No. Has it got anywhere close to it? I suppose a bright torch might help me. You can't see this, it's very boring. Another thing it might be smart to disconnect the, where are we? Oh lordy. Might be smart to see where we got to. No, it's somewhere. That's the things down there. That's the thing there. Right, there it is. It's down a ways. Unless I can find a way of pushing it up, maybe with a device like this. This might be the better way of doing it. I might better offer it up to this department or something similar. No, I still need the light in there, don't I? Be careful with that because it's quite bright. Okay. Hello, friend. A bit more of a bend on this for a start. Hello there. Okay, you are there. Where's the thing? Okay. Have we made contact? We've made contact. Is it sticking? No, that's the other one. So where's this one then? Where's the other one gone? Heckfire, I've gone blind. Where is it dangling around? That's weird. Right, there's still a few loom bands to rescue from here. Right, that one is, there's a little holding on clip. That one, where's it gone? Oh, there it is. It's right up in the corner. That's why I can't see it. Let's see if I can get to it. Hello there. That's too flat now. Stay. Too curved, I mean. I'll catch this, don't worry. Aha, right. Ooh. Now I have a grip. I have the thing in my magnetic hand. Now I'm going to attempt to bring it. Oh, I can see it. Can I do anything to it? No, I can't. Can I bring it anywhere near this hole? I can attempt to. I bend this a bit and yeah, that's right. Like so cool, man. Now what I think this is okay. What's this attached to? This is attached to both pickup units. So it's attached to the red one, which is up there. Attached to the saddle. God blimey, this is a great puzzle. You need to go inside and have a look. What's going on? Help me! You're in the incredible voyage. Just entered the world of bits and pieces. Can you see in there? There is, attached to my magnet is the thing. I need a second magnet now. Which I have got, but I haven't got to hand on the end of a bendy thing. What I'm doing is I'm kind of looking into there, you see? It's down there somewhere. Right, wish I had a head-mounted what's it, because it would work. But okay, so as you can see, I'm holding it with a magnet, but really what I need is a magnet to grab hold of it and pull it out the other way. So I have a magnet here, but what I don't have is another spare bit of wire. So we've got a bit of bendy wire here. Could I borrow a piece of this bendy wire? I could, couldn't I? I don't need all of it. Let's borrow this much. He's cut his tool in half. Does that stick to there? It does. Did it go through the hole? No! That was a waste of time. Right, revert to other magnets. Holy carambola. Right, now this is more promising. Sorry about this. I'm really enjoying this, I know. This is about as boring as you can get. Moves the bone dust out to one side, cuts off rubber sheath off this thing, frees up the magnet end, the metal end, please. Right, metal core is showing. Ouch. It's quite magnety. What's going to happen is I'm going to lose this if I'm not careful. So what I really need is, what do I need? I need a shrink wrap tube, don't I? Yes, Sam, that's what you need to put your magnets in to do this job. And I need to open them up with a device, and then I need to put them on here to keep them safe. And if I was smart, I'd probably use a bit of resin somewhere in this mixture as well before I committed this thing to the depths of the guitar. Oh, come on, you floodlight hero. Okay, so the point is I've got two magnets sort of looking like they're getting covered up. Ooh. Ooh. Isn't so bad. That isn't so bad. Keep pushing. Come on. No, it's not going to work, but hey. Well, it might work. Come on. Don't be pessimistic. Choppers. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of this onto that. So we've got a mixture of metal, making magnet connection, and sheathed. Oh, this is so cool. Shrink wrap for England. Shrink wrap around my special tool. Shrinky wrap, shrinky wrap, shrinky wrap, shrinky wrap. Now we're trusting in the heavenly powers of magnets and shrink wrap to do the business here. You want to come inside? Funny operation. I'll put you in here, but if I put you in here, you're probably gonna drop you, and that'll be the end of the game. Okay, so hang on a second while I balance you some filtering inside. Do that and then a bit of that. How does that work? Sort of like that. Yeah, you can see loads there. You're a ringside seat. Okay. We still have the thing now. What have I got to do? Oh, geez, I've got to be at the back end of this thing. I need the front end of this thing. How did that end up that way around? Hello. I need the front end of this darn thing. Do this. I can probably make. Yeah, look, I've got contact. Ah, are we taking? No, we haven't taken a handover, have we? I've got one magnet that isn't strong enough to hand over from the other one. Damn. Do this. Let's try this. I know what I'm doing. I can feel it. You come around this way. You go around this way. Oop, that doesn't feel good. I know you've lost your visual acuity. There you go. What's happening? Where are we? Oh, Christ. Well, I'm sort of heading towards the thing, but it doesn't really have me. Can I even see what angle I've got here? I have no idea what I'm looking at through here. Okay, I can see it. Oh, for goodness sake. Right. That isn't going to work. I'm never going to get this thing through. Whose idea was this? You in there laughing at me. I can see you. I can't see anything. This is mental. Sorry, I'm going to look from this end. What am I actually looking at here? I'm looking at the side-on view of the that thing. I've somehow got to get this. It's like I've got half a jack plug. That might do. Might be it. A jack plug. Shall I sacrifice a jack plug for it? Yikes! Watch me go. Watch this. I can't believe I'm doing this. I cannot believe it. Mark. A labour of love. Goodbye, jack plug. Now, how am I going to do this? Can I even vaguely get close to doing that? That won't fit through there. Nope. What am I doing? I've just chopped off a jack plug for the hell of it. Let me just try something. You're in the dark. Come on. Okay. I can find the thing, and I can line up the thing, and I can press in. Yes. Right. Now, this could be interesting. Is there any magnetic? Ooh, there's a slight, very, very slight magneticness, but it isn't going to work. Well, it's going to be hard work. I'm trying to just keep that lit. Get my hand in the way. Hold on a minute. What I'm trying to do now is get this extra bit of spare jack plug somewhere near the hole, which I absolutely cannot see. But there is a tiny bit of magnetism to it. If I now, no, not enough. If I could just get those two bits to work together, surely I could with the same technique. Ain't that right? Stick with me. You're going to like this. Not a lot. He finds the next two magnets. Dun, dun, dun. He gets the next piece of purple stuff. Dun, 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 dun. That's that fall back there. That's fine. You stay there. You stay there. You stay there. I'm going to make a joining arrangement. Okay, expand to fit magnets. Hang in there. I'll come and rescue you in a minute. You'll be alright. Scary this, isn't it? Come on, two magnets. Get in there. Do a pair of magnets. In there you go. In there you go. Right up to the top. Right. Woohoo! That's in there. Now I want to add those to the end of this. Far enough out that I can push it all the way on and shrink wrap it. Oh yeah. Right. Shrink wrapper holds away from the guitar in question. Fire. Literally. Shrink A, wrap A around the magnets A, around the cable. Alright. Well, that's going to be as grippy as it's ever going to be. Now, we are aligned for history. Dum, 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 dum. Hello. Reveal yourself. We have contact. We have electronic magnetical contact, ladies and gentlemen. Out through the holes. Oh yeah. Come to me. Oh, little jack plug. And he's lined it up, but the damn thing he's chosen to use won't come back through. I didn't think about that bit. But technology is the right technology. That's good. That's good. Where's the dangling? Right. I'm going to disconnect you for a minute. Leave you dangling in space. Hold on. Right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to shave this down. Oh heck. Right. How do I shave it down? I get a sharp blade and I start cutting. And I've got to cut it down so this beauty will fit through that jack plug, through the eye of the needle. We've already sacrificed a cheap jack lead, which I'm sure came with a guitar that I bought from somebody in a kit or something, so we're really not that much down on the deal at the moment. This is like rescuing the astronauts in Apollo 13. It doesn't matter what it costs, we've got to get there and do it. This is why we're in charge of the monkey cages at the zoo and not the other way round. It's our tool use that has led us to the brink of extermination, extinction, and all those other things beginning with E. I think we will be close to the optimum size. Just a quick check. Did we go through? No, we still got a little bit too much flab going on here in the land of plastic. Hang in there, batteries. We'll be with you before your oxygen runs out. We'll have you back out through this porthole. Now, of course, if there's anything wrong with these connections on the other side, I won't know because I'm only really pulling it into location. Close, but still no cigar. Right, I'm going to now sort of taper down the end of this where it meets the jack plug. I wouldn't be surprised if it all falls apart, but actually really what we just need is the jack plug attached to some wires, and as long as they hold long enough to pull this unit into place, I'll be happy. Okay, we've got it stuck around the waist there. A little bit more shaving. We are really at the limits of what this won't be a jack plug anymore by the time I finish this. Well, it isn't anyway, but it won't be. holding together if I carry on with this slimming down, but we've got to get it through that hole. I think we should be able to do it. There's no reason why it shouldn't if I just cut it carefully enough. We can always test it from this end. The guys who hey, color 13 are going to be mighty relieved. So which end am I pulling out? Oh yes, I'm pulling out a hand. Right, it's a little bit tight, so I don't want to run the risk of anything falling off. So I'm going to go that little extra mile in slimming it down around the flexible bendy bit, which sort of sticks up a bit bigger than everything else. And I'll be back with you with some light in a minute. Hey. It's probably one of the weirdest videos I've seen on YouTube. Right, I haven't seen it, but I won't watch it. Now, what did I think I would do? Oh yes, I thought do I need it to do that? No, just do it like this. Now I've got it through. I couldn't have done it before, but now I can just go straight through. The question is, can I get it to connect here? Come on. Moving around the wires is just exactly what you don't really need. Get in. Is that in? Okay, well I don't need the magnet bit now because I've slimmed this down, so here we go. Please release me, let me go. Oh, beauty. Now, that's through. Hurrah. Now the bit that I haven't figured out is I need a washer and a dual upper thing. Right, while we're there, hold fire, I'll be with you. Washer and a nut. Washer, nut. No, Morris, not now. It's not the time. Now is definitely not the time. Right, I have to guess. Do I have to guess the correct? Yikes. I think I'm going to be in trouble here. I'm going to guess the washer. I'm going to guess the nut. I could be terribly, terribly wrong. Now the question is, with this nut, how am I going to get that to stay? Is it magnetic enough to hold it in place? Well, there we go. Ah, now I have got, can you see what I'm doing maybe? There's a little bit of magnetic hold, but not much. Ooh, I got you. Now it doesn't come out very far, so hellfire. Right, I'm going to have to hold it here, release it. I'm going to try something. No idea if this is going to work. Will this nut and this washer now go on? Going in backwards. Go backwards tool, very good. Washer. There's a second. Ah! Washer nut. Backwards, my friend. Backwards. Don't fall through. Please don't fall through. Just go on. Do what you're told. Right. Not wanting it to go. Hold fire. Before we lose it again, I have to go through this process again. Now it's going to fall out. Hands required. Just some assistance. That didn't work. Back through again. What I don't know, and I can't know, is whether this. So first of all, we've got a washer on the inside, which is taking up a bit of the room that we could use for pushing it through to get a good bite on with the nut. But it's not going to come out, so I'm now going to push it back in, back in, through again. Holding that in place with a thumbnail. Now trying to hold it tight with the. Come on, please. go on. Oh, far delicious. I don't even know if this is the right size. No, I'm just hoping. I'm just trying to get this little tool back in there again without the thing falling all its way through, and it's trying to, refusing to do what I ask it. Come on, get. Right. Now, if I can just get this on. Mamma mia, right. I've got a bit of bite, and I'm going to slather this thing with blue Loctite because I don't want this damn thing ever falling out. And it's going to make a bit of a mess that I've got to clear up in a minute. If I could get it out of the tube. Come on. Oh, right. Holds here, goes and cuts off end of damn bottle. Come on, don't mess me around when I need you. Thank you. We might be en route to some success. Just squirt some out of this darn bowl. More the merrier, please. Okay, now I need the dewy uppy thing. Oh, that was good. Hit the edge of the thing. Sorry about the noise. Right, now I can hold this. Oh yeah. My little internal guitar traveller. I can tell that this has even got cracked. So this is a bad design with you've got a jack plug that goes into a thin piece of I don't know if you can probably see better than I can, but if you look in here, I bet there's right up there. Is there any? Well, I can look at it and see in a minute, but I bet there's no. I bet they go straight through the thin wood. There's no block or anything in the way. It can't be. So there you go. That was fun, but it's not a good design because the leverage on that jack plug is always going to cause it to get damaged. But now I'm pleased that we've done that. The magnet stuff wasn't in the end wasn't entirely needed, but I've got myself some convenient little magnets for future escapades along with the main one, which we can also reuse. Hurrah! He says, hurrah! Put these out of the way. Clear these out of the way. Bit of bracing for the bin. Everything over there for now. It's too late in the day for worrying about tidying up. And a little bit of clean up on the glue stuff. Well, like I say, definitely not a good design having your jack plug just dangling off the back of the guitar like that. That's guaranteed to crack the wood, as you can see it has done over time, because it just waggles. But anyway, look, hooray, we've got no more things. Now what I'd like to do just now, which I'll do a quick test to see if we can hear whether this has reconnected the pickups. This should be, I can't remember which one this is, but let's try it out, because it took a lot of bashing around, really, wiggling and waggling. Right, the preamp is on. What? Nano Mag, Nano Flex blend. Okay, I'm just running a volume half and up. Now, see, that tells me there's something wrong with the internals. Ugh. After all of that, and it's not even in good nick. Ay, ay, ay. What an absolute pain in the Lollapalooza. Oh, that is so annoying. Why? Can you tell me, anybody? And that is almost impossible to get out as well. That's connected up to here. Both of them go into that unit there. There should be nothing wrong, but the output is fed out from this little unit here. The two pickups go in there, one after another. That's fine, that's fine. And then the output goes out to this, and what I don't know is the condition on the back of here. I'm short of pulling the entire thing out, which requires me to pull out the... This shouldn't go directly to there. Why is that going directly to there? What's going to... That's going... Is that going to the bridge? Output. That's bizarre. Oh, it's an earth to the bridge. Wow, wow. But something is telling me that it isn't playing right, and that whatever's happened in its coming apartness. Ugh. In its coming apartness. Mind you, something's telling me neither of them are making a noise. Why is that? There's the battery. It seems to be lighting up. I'm not getting anything coming out of any of them. I mean, switch over to the other side. No, something isn't right. You'd think it would be coming out of one of these units. Goes to the ridge. That's the saddle pickup there, the piezo. That's earth to the bridge, which goes to also to this one here. That is, pull this out of the way, we might stand a chance of getting it out. Pull sideways. Pull sideways. Can we pull sideways? Did that work? Oh, this is muchly annoying. This is kind of the slow end to my day. So that's supposed to ram those in there, and they just jam in, and that's actually broken. So it's good for nobody. I need to do something with a bit of Velcro or something, because the wires are just sort of yoinked into there. They don't want to come out of their own free will very easily. Okay, that goes all the way up to there, comes all the way back to there, and that should be plugged in there. So this should be the neck pickup, and the battery's on, and I've got my pickup on, I'm plugged in there. It's on one of them. Phase no, tuner no, flex, volume, one pickup or the other. It's neither. So neither is making noise. See, this one's spinning as well. Oh God. That's not going to be very healthy, is it? Neither of these are working. My amp is. Well, this one has, this is spinning as well, which is no good. This is stereo nano mag. So this one, nano mag, nano flex. So we're on nano flex. This one should be working. This front one, but it isn't. I mean, it's what, magnetic pickup, right? It's got to be. You should be able to hear it. You should be able to hear some sound of it. This one, I think the socket's broken. You can tell, anyway. No, flex. They're both knackered. Oh, what annoying things. Well, that needs a doing up first of all, before anything else, because otherwise that's going to spin around and more. Something in here isn't working at all. So there we go, that was fun. Lots of hard work. Judging by this, it could be the battery is dead for starters, because that is absolutely not working at all. And I don't have a spare one of those. Came out that way up, but it's doing nothing. Volume off. Maybe it only comes on when you plug something into it. Maybe that's the secret. Yeah. Blend. You should get something out here. Oop. No. Just ain't doing it. Something is not right. Oh, that's a shame. This is going to be a lot longer of a bigger of a deal, as they say. Yes, we have no bananas. Not coming out there. It's pretty quiet on here though. See, that jack is broken anyway. It's not that, it's not the pickup making a noise, it's just I'm just going to try another lead, but I'm pretty sure that it's yonder sockets that aren't working. We can't use that lead because that's now dead. Chopped it to bits. I'll use another one. Can I borrow this one, sir? What's on the end of here? Oh, let's just get all these off. That's good for the bin. That's a usable lead. A small lead. Let's use this. I still don't think we're going to get anywhere. What's wrong with this now? Is everything in the world not working? Holy cow. You can go in the bin. Right, just give me a lead. Okay. You know where that red lead's going, don't you? Marvellous. Okay. Crisis over. Red lead. You're finally... I should have chopped that up to make my special probe. Red lead. Good. I think I've only had that for about 25 years. Okay, I'm pretty much certainly coming towards the end of my rope for tonight. That was an interesting little venture, wasn't it? What time do we have in the world? Oh my god, it's 9:30. Right. So I have got to do is, I've done that bit then. I'm going to tighten up the other one as well. But what I wanted to do, I'm going to do it now since we're here and it's the business. I'm going to do a little bit of fret rubbering. I could find them. Fret rubbers, thank you. And really, I'm only going to use one of them, I think, just to give it a little bit of shine. Just a clean, really, more than anything else. You know, I haven't got hours booked in to spend on, you know, we're not refretting them or anything, but just bringing them up to a shinier shine. And then, so this won't take long. It sort of tends to bring up the dirt, the grooves and stuff. You really can see them. This is a fairly light gauge rubber. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this. I'm going to finish this, damn it. It's only going to take half an hour now. Now we've done all that. I'm going to get this shined up, and then I'm going to clean the fretboard and the rest of the guitar and quickly whip the tuners off to be able to give them a clean as well. And then restring, and we'll test out our freshly rescued pickup system. That was so damn annoying, trying the wrong lead, and I used that to play with the other day, so I don't quite know what happened to that, but evidently it's solved the problem, thankfully. So this is just a fairly quick shine up, and obviously the strip here is, the purpose is to just protect the fretboard while I'm doing this. I find these strips impossible to hold in place whilst using, so I end up putting this sort of rough Gorilla Tape around it so that it holds better to the fingerboard. And as you can see, it's a lot less trouble. It's got loads of sticky on it, so it really will hold on for as long as you need. It just makes the whole thing one hell of a lot easier. Doing this, trying to hold the strip with your fingers, you'd end up with very sore hands, and it will buckle the strip up, and you'd have all kinds of problems. But this extra bit of stickiness really works. Just gonna do this, and then we'll get this very odd video finished. Yeah, I didn't expect to be taking you on the inside trip into the innards of an old Epiphone guitar, but why not? That's the beauty of little cameras. You get to go where even I couldn't go. What I'll do is I'll probably get my other pegs out and see if they just match up and fit alright, because I know the other ones have got character, but I'll obviously, you know, just include them, send them back with the guitar. But the new ones have a bit more grip. Maybe won't slip so far down into the saddle, sorry, the bridge. Okay, these as you're doing something like this, you really do get a sense of a good impression of the condition of the frets, and these are pretty dinged up and stuff. But as an acoustic guitar, if you're never really going to be playing any bending notes or anything, you really won't be worried about it. It's not really that important. Okay, so there we go. That's my little bit of a fret clean up. I'm going to do now, let's have a quick go. I might not, given the time, I might not take the whole head off that, tuners off that thing there. I might just give it a good clean around anyway. It's nice, good condition lacquer anyway, so it's cleans up quite well. Yeah. One of these tuners looked like I say, it's missing its little rubber grommet. I don't know if I've got any of those attached to any other tuners anywhere that are dead that I could probably steal one from actually. So I'm just giving the fingerboard a bit of a solvent rub down. It's not actually dirty, it's just old and plenty of finger goo in it. I'll have to do that in future, take the camera inside of the acoustic guitars. Right, now that's the front done. What I'll do is just load this up a bit, go around the surface, the bridge. I'm going to blow out, if I can, some of the dust in that little crack in there, and then give this a bit of a rub down as well. Right. Sides. These are now very wet and grimy. There's some spots of weird stuff on here. Might come off with, I don't know what it is, sticky something. Mind you, this is when you consider what was in this thing, Lego men and books, knows what else. Well loved and used guitar. And a quick going over on the back. I might tomorrow, in a quiet moment, I might just take a bit of the scratch remover and see if I can get rid of any of those little clinging dots, little bits of grime that are stuck to it. I don't quite know what they are. Sort of accumulated goo. And then I also might have a look for a spare little spacer for these tuners. Oops, there goes the saddle again. Right. Nice, nice, nice. Saddle, filthy, give it a clean. Not much cleaning to do with it. Just checking which side is which. There's no intonation on this, so it's really down to where the grooves look most likely. Right. Pow and double pow. Okay. Acoustic pins, white. These are a little bit different. Very white, in fact. But how many have we got? How crappy would they look? Well, you know what? Do these do the job? Yeah, at least do the job. Let's not change what doesn't need changing. The cream ones do the job. Okay, so let's start with our restrings. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, I missed it. Oh, nut grinding. Da, 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 da. The last big operation. Now, what I wanted to do is I just wanted to draw a little bit of a marker line into the center of these. The reason I do that is I just want to keep track, if I can, of where my bottom of these slots lives, so that I can tell when I've reached it with this. Now, it's going to get noisy in a minute. Get a good careful grip on it. should have done that before cleaning it. Still deep. Let's have a look, getting close. See, it's very nice and tidy. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Handsome. I've cleaned. Oh, there goes some double-ended strings. Quick dust down with a clean rag. Get in there, clean that, there, better. Okay, pins, everything ready. Big string. Pins. Hurrah. String winder. So it's, sorry, you're probably a bit dusty as well. Up there. Ooh, pulls up, locks in place. Pull back mostly nearly a fret, same old thing. Over the top, the loose one, under the return as it comes around again. Choppers, clippers, pliers, snippers. Hurrah. Wow. Well, that's good. I'm glad that that turned out to be a broken lead. It's often the simplest of things. Couldn't really see an obvious reason why, with everything connected up, that wasn't going to work. So that's a nice outcome, really. Okay, same thing. Bit of slack, about a fret's worth. Come round over the loose one. Second time round, under the loose one, and cut off the excess. Ding. Well, that, yeah, it was a bit disjointed, all of that, wasn't it? With our journeys into the heart of the beast. Strings are funny things in acoustics. They go down, and the ball wants to sort of get stuck. And then if you don't pull it up manually, it'll stick there until you put it under a lot of load, and then it'll suddenly pop up with a huge clang and jump forward. And it's not a problem, it's a bit shocking when it happens, but the problem it does give you is that it puts, if it's crimped over or bent over the saddle as you tighten it up, what happens is as it loosens or it releases that stored bit and it jumps forward, the bent bit that was over the saddle jumps forward, and now you've got a bent bit on your playing length, which you could do without, really. That's not what you want. So these are ultra light or extra light strings, and they should make this delightfully light to play. That's the idea. bone dust to clean off the headstock afterwards. So as I tighten this all up, again, a bit like the electric guitar sequence, I'm looking for, or listening for any pinging noises, which would tell me that the strings are getting caught in the nut slots, and if they are, then I need to work with the sandpaper to widen those slots a little bit to free the strings up, because they will affect, that will be the main enemy of stable tuning, and we don't want that. So that's sort of the first thing as I'm stretching out the strings. That's the kind of the primary thing I'm looking for, really, or listening for. And the last string. Okay, so what I'll do is after I've finished this, I'm going to take this beastie in the house and leave it overnight, and then test play it in the morning, make sure it's all hunky-dory. There's not, you know, other than the, in this case we've done replaced the nut, and other than that really there's no other adjustments to do on it. The gauge is a bit lighter than it was, so it may be that we want to adjust the truss rod just a slight amount, because it will be a flatter neck now than it was before, because there's not as much loading on the body, on the neck as before. So, but if it plays okay, then we won't necessarily even do that. Oops, see, there you go. That's the loose slack coming forward. Better to do it now than later. Stretching business. So as always, the truss rod cover goes on last when I've worked out whether it's whether it needs any adjustment or not. I'm happy with how it plays. Okay, busy day. I think I've probably got another guitar. It's certainly got, I think I've got one in 2 pieces arriving tomorrow for a repair. That's a Taylor Baby. Its neck joint has given away, and it heads right off. But the Taylor has a very cute joint at the headstock. So that's going to be interesting to see whether that fixes nicely and cleanly. Twinglingly clean. I'm going to be careful of this top E, because I don't have any spares. So if this breaks, well, I've got another set coming tomorrow, but I don't want to have to waste a whole set for carelessness of breaking one string. Now at this point, as a tune, I'm listening for pings at the nut. That's there. That's there. Beautiful. Right, we're done. Couple of little things, like I say, I'll check. I might put a little bit of the old scratch remover on the side to get rid of those little dots of goo, whatever they are. The neck is a little flatter, obviously because there's less pull on it than it was before. But actually, broke, don't fix it more. Alright, we're done. We're done. That's it for tonight. I'm hanging my head in shame after that slightly odd journey around everything. Thank you for sticking it out for this weird one. I will take these back in and give them back to Mark as well. I'm going to, while I'm here, let me just put this truss rod cover on. We can call it Sew the Patient Up. We might find an extra, a little washer to replace on this tuner. We might also, what might we also do? Yeah, might also clean the body down with some scratch remover. But apart from that, it's almost done. So I'll take it inside in the safe. I don't want to leave guitars out overnight, especially not acoustics. It's damp out here. It's okay when I'm in here and I heat it up and everything, but I don't want to leave them out any longer than they need to be. It's only 80% humidity with the light on now. It's amazing how much body heat and lighting heats the place up. As soon as it heats up, the humidity goes down, but still some stretching to do. But there we go. Thank you very much. See you again.